Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news for you, and the headline reads, shocking, see the amount allocated by the presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari, to Ndigbo over the approved $22.7 billion loan. See details. But before we go into the news proper and further analysis, we do love you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button below. Beside it, you will see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Okay, let's go straight into the news of the day. You will see the unadulterated Buhari's love for the Ndigbos. As we're talking, you begin to see the screenshots of the breakdown of the 22.7 billion naira loan approved by Senate that President Muhammadu Buhari has gotten. You will see it region by region, political zones, how it has been broken down state by state, and projects and services that will be carried out with this money. Okay, let's begin to read out some of the projects, region by region, then state within the regions. Now, for the southwest, we have the power transmission project, which has been allocated 200 million. That's for Lagos State and Ogun State. For the south, we have the east-west road, which has been allocated $800 million. That the $200 million is actually in dollars. That's for the east-west zone. East-west road is actually Niger Delta. The railway modernization coastal railway project, which is Calabar, Port Harcourt, on a deep seaport segmentation, that's for Cross River and River State, and it has been allocated $3.47 billion. Then for the southeast, it's actually nil. What it means is that there is no money allocated for southeast. There is not in dollars, not in pounds, not even in naira. There is no project, no money allocated for the whole of southeastern region. Let's go to northeast and see what they have. For the northeast, we have the multi-sectoral crisis recovery program, which has been given allocated $200 million. That's for the northeast. Then for the northeast, Nigeria integrated social protection, basic health education, nutrition services, and livelihood restoration project. It has been allocated $100 million. Northeast, for the Lake Chad Basin Commission, that has been allocated $13 million as for the multinational. Then for the northwest, for the Kano Lagos Railway Modernization Project, that's Kano Ibadan segment double track, they have been allocated $5.53 billion. That's the Kano Ibadan state. Then the vocational training in power sector, it has been allocated $50 million. That's for the Federal Capital Territory. Some of the states that is included here is Federal Capital Territory, Lagos, Ogun, Kano, Plateau, Niger, Enugu, Kaduna, and Cross River State. Then for Kaduna State Economic Transformation Program for results, it has also been allocated $35 million. For the Kaduna State Economic Transformation Project, it has been allocated $35 million. Then for the National Information Communication Technology Infrastructural Backbone Project, that's NECTEB Phase 2, it has been allocated $328.1 million. And Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, Akure, Maduguri, Lokoja, Kaduna, Bauchi, Kano, and Katsina are the states that will partake in this project. And for the health system project, for Katsina, $110 million have been allocated for that. For rural water supply and sanitation, $150 million has been allocated for that, for the northeast and the plateau. Then development of the mining industries in Nigeria, this one is for nationwide industry, that those who have mining industries, it is $150 million. For the North Central, Stable Cross Processing Zone Support Project, which is $100 million for Kogi State in particular. For Greater Abuja Water Supply Project, that's strictly for FCT, it has been allocated $381 million. Abuja Mass Road Transport Project, that's Phase 2, it has been allocated $1.25 billion. That's for Abuja as well. Then the Mambela Hydroelectric Power Project, that been allocated $4.8 billion. That's for Taraba State. Integrated Program for Development and Adaptation to Climate Change in Niger Basin. It has been allocated $6 million that is going to be shared between Nigeria and Niger Republic. All right, that's the news, and that's also the breakdown of the $22.7 billion that has been approved by Senate for the all-round development of Nigeria. Well, you can see that is conspicuously missing the southeastern zone, as the Ndigbos in particular have no dime to that region. I guess that region does not need development based on the breakdown of breakdown and segmentation of the $22.7 billion being borrowed by the federal government, approved by the Senate just fairly recently. Okay, but before we go into full analysis, let's analyze this whole breakdown, how it affects Nigeria as a whole, and region by region. But let's feel the pulse of Nigerians online concerning this. One here says the Southeast does not even need that money to survive. If we have good and responsible governance, we are good to go. This one here says, yet we are the strongest and most successful. He laughs. This one here says, if this is actually true, Southeast has no need to be in Nigeria any longer. Let's hear what this one here is saying. Another one here is saying, if this is true, then the Southeasterners should rejoice and stop crying, for the Lord of hosts has heard our cries, because it makes the biafra agitation more realistic and strong and draws us more faster to our dreams than ever. It makes our case more easier and substantial and presentable. Here, this one says, thank you, fake Buhari, for helping us to divide this useless country more. This one here says, injustice to one is a possible injustice to all. It is only the man from the east that could speak against injustice, whether it affects him or others, unlike other zones who keep mute when injustice didn't affect them. This one here says, history made me realize that the Igbos sacrificed a lot for this country before and after independence. Even Z gave up the seat of prime minister, but this is where we are now. We are now being exempted in the national cake. How will the Southeast develop like its peers if things like this continue to happen? This one here says, better. The creditors will not allow Nigeria to break up until the loan is paid in full. But the Southeast will not be affected because it is not a beneficiary to the loan repayment. Okay, this one here says, thanks to God for the sharing formula and location. By the time capital B is gone and established, I guess what he means by capital B here is Biafra. By the time capital B is gone and established, nobody will come to us for debt repayment because we didn't join them to squander the money. Good luck to the nation of O and A. I guess the O may be Oduduwa Republic, that's the Yorubas, and the A may be Arawa, which is the Northern Youth. Okay, this one here says, please show this to Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka, the foremost vain prophet of our time. I guess 4 persons will love his statement. This one here is saying, this is wickedness in the highest order to Southeast. Tomorrow someone will tell me one Nigeria nonsense. This one now here says, this was the reason why Senator Inyinaya Abaribe insisted on the floor of the House to allow them take each item one after the other rather than generalizing them. Heartbroken. I'll take 1 or 2 more and we'll go into the analysis in full. This one here is saying, we should be calling our shameless senators names except Inyinaya Abaribe, who asked the Senate president to break down how they want to use this money before approval, because he knows that these men are mean. This one here is saying, Southeast got nothing, a confirmation that she is a nation on her own, thank God. The last one I'm taking here is saying, I think most critics in this platform just lack reading or thinking capacity. Chidi, I doubt if you even have infer from a simple infographic. Education for all, Mabella project and all. Okay, but generally speaking, I guess what she here is trying to say, that the whole project is a Nigerian project regardless of the region, that Nigeria generally will enjoy the project. Okay, this is it. I guess that's one of the reasons why Senator Yinaya Baribe was insisting that there should be a breakdown of this loan, $22.7 billion loan, so that every region will know which is what, and begin to see if you can take some out of some regions to feed other regions. Are you saying that Southeastern region does not need money to develop their region? How many railway do they have in that region? No offense, man, but look, let's be truthful to ourselves. Let's call a spade a spade. Do you think that the Southeasterners also don't have farmlands, just like the Kogi, Kogi State? They gave a lump sum for Kogi to develop some of their arable crops and all that. Do you think that the Southeasterners also do not need some of this infrastructural development? Yes, they do, and it makes it look as if already psychologically it looks as if Southeasterners have already been removed. No wonder Senator Baribe insisted that there should be some sort of separation and breakdown of some of these segments so that one will understand what it means.
All right. I think when we talk about income or resources, there's what we call equitable distribution of income or funds, whether it is a loan or maybe money generated internally by Nigeria for any form of development. I feel that it must be equitably distributed. Yes, the president talked about infrastructural projects that were meant to be completed between 2016 and 2018, which is still yet to be completed, and that was why he called for them. But then, even with that in mind, I think that he would have still included the Southeast, owing to the fact that they are still a part of the country. Just, sidelining them out of all. It's not that he sidelined two of them, but he sidelined just that one. It clearly shows that there's something that we do not understand. I think that was why the Abaribe and Suswamam demanded that they needed to see all the details and go through it line after line. I hope that actually the president knows what he's doing.
I guess that's also one of the reasons why President Lawan, the Senate President Lawan, insisted on not breaking it down, because if he had broken the projects line by line, segment by segment, I guess the floor, I'm talking about the Red Chamber, would have caught fire, would have gone in flames, because every sector, all the senators in the Southeastern region would have come on fire. They would have come, Senate President would have come under serious attack if eventually they realize that a particular region has been exempted. This does not augur well for a people you have promised presidency 2023. It's not in words. Actions are speaking better, louder, very loud, louder than words. If you keep saying that, don't worry, 2023 is for the Igbos, is for the Southeastern to produce, time for the Southeasterners or the South to produce the presidency 2023. But the action already, if there's a loan that's not even, it's going to be repaid by Nigeria sometime soon, and the Southeasterners are conspicuously missing from the beneficiaries of this loan, it speaks volume, because this is action now talking, not just words. If by words you are promised them that hopefully by 2023 there will be an Igbo man from an Igbo extract that will be the president of this country, Nigeria, and it comes to a loan that is going to be repaid by all, and this region is conspicuously missing in the benefit, it speaks so much. Honestly, it does. And honestly, to also help to agitate this issue of Biafra more and more. It will help them to feel much, much more marginalized, and to help them to feel much, much more away from the country in Nigeria. Even if there was some sort of agreement of some sort, okay, let's see if they can even consider with these and other things that have been happening, they will honestly stick to being called Biafra and also want to actualize their country, seeing the fact that the marginalization is becoming very obvious for all to see. I just hope that the Southeastern governors are actually seeing this, and when they go for this fake meeting, I'm talking about the executive council meeting for the governors and all, I hope they usually, for the governors and the political appointees, I hope they usually bring up such topics and segments like this, so that everyone will be all-inclusive, every region will be all-inclusive. How would other regions, have a feel of this $1 billion project, $1 billion loan, and a region is conspicuously missing. All right, that's how much I can go. What do you think about this unadulterated love that President Muhammad Buhari has for the Ndigbos? I'm talking about the Southeasterners in the